We are back in another session. We did the doctrines of company, and today we are working on organic theory. Now, what is in the organic theory? Under this theory, we learn about the composition of a company. So we have organic theory whereby we have directors in the company meeting. This gives the composition of organic theory, which brings actually the success. So the success of every company is based on directors, which is the board of directors, and company meeting. Organic theory. Since the company is an artificial person, it can only act through an agency of human person. Two primary organs of the company are: 1, general meeting; 2, board of directors meeting. Directors meeting. Meaning, we'll look at meaning, the role, the types, the appointment, and the powers of a director. Meaning, a team of people elected by corporation shareholders to represent the shareholders in interest and ensure that the company management acts on their behalf. So it's very important to know that the director are people who have been elected to actually foresee the interest of the company. The authority to exercise company's power is normally delegated not to the members or individual directors, but only to the directors as a board. So the management of a company is normally based on board of directors. Under Section 2 of the Act, a director includes any person occupying the position of director by whatever name called. Section 177 of the Companies Act requires every public company to have at least 2 directors and private company at least 1 director. So it's a requirement for any company to be run by a director. Now, the roles of directors. Section 291, which states that the board of directors can do all those acts which company can do. This leads to the principle of agency. The board of directors are agents of the company. However, it may be noted that this applies to the whole board and not individual director. So the operation of a company is the operation and the management of a company is in the hands of board of directors, not one, but board of directors. The directors have fiducial relationship with the company, a relationship of trust and faith. Please note that it does not extend to the shareholders. So it is at the interest of the directors to fulfill the interest of the company, not their own interest. 4 duties of directors, according to Professor Koa. 1, to act in the interest of the company. 2, to act within the perimeter of the company. And then 3, not to put himself in position of conflict where his personal interests clash with the company's interest. And finally, his responsibility cannot be delegated. So the responsibility of a director cannot be transferred to another person. The next role of director is establish vision, mission, and values of the company. Determine the company's vision and mission to set the pace for its current operation and future development. Determine the value to promote throughout the company. Determine the company's policies. So it is the role of directors to do the mission, vision of the company, the values of the company, and the policies of the company. The other role is set strategy and structure. Determine the business strategy and plan. that underpin the corporate strategy. Review and evaluate present and future opportunities, threats, and risk SWOT, meaning that in the application of SWOT analysis, they'll be able to analyze what are the strengths of the company, what are the weaknesses of the company, what are the opportunities and the threats. Determine the best corporate structure for implementing the chosen strategy. Delegate to management. Delegate authority to management. That's another role. So it's the work of board of directors to bring forth plans and policies and then give delegation to the management. Delegate authorities to the management, determine monitoring criteria, ensure internal control are effective in the company, communicate with senior management. Another role, exercise accountability to shareholders, ensure communication both to and from shareholders are effective. So they must make sure that they communicate to shareholders, at the same time get information from shareholders. Understand and take into account the interest of the shareholders. Promote the goodwill and support shareholders and relative stakeholders. Responsibilities of a director. The director looks after the affairs of the company and are in position of trust. Exercise their power for proper purpose. That's number 1. Must act in good faith. That's number 2. Act with due skill and care. And finally, must consider the interest of employees of the company. So these are the responsibilities which a director must undertake. Types of directors. By nature of the task. Executive and non-executive. Number 2, by type. Chairman, nominee, and alternate. These are the types of directorship. By nature, de facto and shadow appointment. By the article of association. They are appointed by the article of association by the shareholders. A Company Act Section 184(1) states that every appointment must be voted except in the case of private company. The appointment is normally effected by an ordinary resolution. Company Act Section 185. So directors must be appointed. The disqualification of a director are set out in the Article 88 of Table A. Table A, Article 94, empowers the company from time to time by ordinary resolution to increase or reduce the number of its directors. Stage of appointment of directors. The first director of the company, the subsequent appointment of the directors, the appointment to fill vacancy, the appointment of alternative director. So we have the first director. Once the company is open, we must have the first director, then subsequent, and then appointment to fill vacancy, maybe because of death or a particular problem in the company, appointment of alternative director, and then appointment of managing director. Final powers of the director. The board of directors draw its powers from the following source. 1. The company constitution. So there is a company constitution which stipulates the powers and the rules of a director. The law. What is the law saying about directors? Resolution passed by shareholders. So again, it's about the resolution which is normally passed by the shareholders about the directors. Company secretary. So the operation of a company requires a company secretary, derived from the Latin word secretarius, meaning confidential officer. The duties of a company secretary: maintain the company's statutory register, 2. Dealing with the administration of the share transfers. 3. Coordinate the inspection of the company. Assist in relation to board and shareholders meeting. Then fill all information at the company's house. So it's very important to know that a company cannot operate without a company secretary. Thanks for being informed.